had to guess what the thread in yours is. It's that you cry when watching all of these.
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should turn your TV off. That might be a good idea, Jay.
Yeah, we're going to start recording the Anime Protagonist podcast, episode 113 right away.
Yeah, but no, please keep your TV on so that we can hear Persona 3 music.
Yeah.
No.
We need that.
No.
So we can get copyright struck from Persona gods from Atlas.
From Atlas Video Game Company?
From Atlas Video Game Company and the Sega Genesis.
Back from the dead.
Sega makes the Persona games, don't they?
Yeah,
they're affiliated with them?
Yeah, Atlas is owned by Sega. By Segna.
Did you say Seg Nuts?
Yeah. I said I said Segna.
Segna, my favorite video game company.
Yeah,
Seg these nuts.
Seg these nuts.
Are we? This is where are we recording, right? Like this is in the
we're
episode.
recording. Mari Krapa Weebs. My name is Cole. His name is Mike. His name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 113. Somebody put 14. It's 14. Yeah, 114.
13 goes up on. It went up on Sunday.
It goes 13, 14.
Yeah,
and then next week will be 15. But
yeah.
Mike, you just angelic there for a moment.
There's like his ring light is reflecting right above his head, so it looks like a halo.
I never even noticed. Look, I got two actually.
Oh yeah. Put in the comments, what do you think those lights are? Mysterious. This is gonna be an RUFO soon.
What if they start like moving around?
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
It's just RUFO.
I copied your look this week, Cole. After last week, I gave you such grief about going full like streamer vibe with like the RGB lights and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw like the when I was doing the video edit, I saw like clips of it. I'm like, dang, Cole looks cool. I shouldn't have bashed him for that. And then
don't knock until you try it, bro.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I invested on these lights. It wasn't even that big of an investment. It was like
$30. What did you get?
It's 3 like LED lights.
Oh, okay.
And they're on like little stands.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize that.
I'll show you at the Super Bowl, which is today.
That's right. Oh yeah. Happy
Super
Bowl.
Bowl
Go
party.
Sports.
Go. Oh, man, I don't even want to cheer for either of these teams.
I'm not wanting to cheer for either of them, honestly.
Who are the two teams?
It's the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Okay, yeah. I picked the Chiefs.
Okay, kind of normie pick. You're probably a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay,
well then, Taylor Swift fan.
I am not a Taylor Swift fan, so I will pick the 49ers.
Wow, you're a hater. Just a hater.
Yeah.
I don't know. I nothing against her personally. I just don't really care for her music.
See, I like her music, but like I'm not a huge fan of her personally.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would put it. I don't know. It's a messy one. But
I've kind of grown out of Taylor Swift a little bit, I think.
You're not like an angsty teen girl anymore.
No, she peaked at 1989 and that was
She peaked in 1989 before you were even born?
No, her album 1989.
I know.
I'll be
pleb.
That was when she was born, Joseph.
Oh, is it? Was that her birth year?
She peaked at Love Story though, for real.
Like her first album?
When she was like a country singer. For sure.
Her peak was also her valley. It's just
what does that even mean?
It's just a straight line. There's nothing. It's flat line.
It's like a sine wave. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that was appropriate use. I don't know who used that drop, but
that was cool.
I was looking for crickets, but I couldn't.
What
find
works
them.
too? Yeah. Sad trombone.
Sound trumpet. I don't remember if last week we said what we would be doing. Thank you. I don't remember if last week we said what we would be doing, but we pulled an audible. And this week we're going to be doing our mid-season check-in because it's week 6 as of recording, so we should probably get on it. And we'll check in on the anime season.
Isn't it? Okay, so this is where a little pet peeve of mine, but I'm just gonna rant for a second here.
Yeah.
Anime season, like the weeks don't make sense anymore because like most shows right now, episodes 4 and 5 are coming out as we're recording. But some places call it week 6 and some places call it week 3. So what is reality? What are numbers? What do they mean?
What even is what?
Anime.
Yeah.
What is anime, Jay?
But yeah, well, I'll rant more about that in the second half.
Anime is life. Anime is death. Anime is entropy.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay. I'm on the soundboard this week.
Okay.
It's working well. Riverside must have heard our complaints.
Yeah.
It's the new computer.
Name dropped them. Oops. Oh yeah, new computer. Probably actually. Honestly, yeah.
Actually, I might have something to share with the class.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, sure.
This is the weekly. Jay checks his thing behind him.
I got a new figure.
There?
What is that?
It's Aegis from Persona 3.
Bruh. What is it? I don't know who that is.
Aegis from Persona 3. I don't know if you know.
If you know, you know. Me.
If you know, you know. I got a Makoto one. That's Persona.
I got one of these.
Wow.
I got one of these.
Got him. Yeah,
wow.
Nice.
Wow.
There's going to be a kid watching this, and we're going to be showing that to them. So,
okay.
Well, I mean,
PG-13. That's our rules, right?
Yeah. Our cold open last week was about hentai. So, I mean,
yeah. We got to kind of sometimes you got to let your freak flag fly, you know?
Yeah. Every week we host an anime podcast.
We do host an anime podcast.
It's kind of the point. If you're trying to be like a cool and like a normal human being and you host an anime podcast, like you've lost already.
Yeah. You're losing. Mm-hmm. You're a loser.
You lose this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good day.
Try again next time, Chief. Yeah.
We'll get them eventually. We want to talk.
About?
Listen, we have to talk
about.
Do you guys like mail?
Sometimes.
It's time for the mailbag.
It's mailbag. Listen, we've been away from the mailbag for a number of weeks.
We've had a busy little bit here, right?
Well, I mean, it's the yearly wrap up. You know, it's
the wrap up.
It's busy. So there was one mailbag that was recently submitted. What? Just how do you miss your mouth?
I filled my blender bottle up too much, so when I opened it, it was literally like at the rim here. And then when I tipped it just a little bit, it just sprayed all over me.
All right. If any of you are playing bingo while you're listening to this podcast, check off Mike does something stupid.
Yeah, and
you can also makes a fool of himself.
Yeah, you can also check off someone spilt something. So that's a 2 for 1.
Yeah,
and you can also check off Jay was playing a video game into recording.
Hey, when was the last time I did that? When was the last time I did that?
I don't know,
it's been a minute.
Last week, I think.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, mailbag. We're in the mailbag.
Mailbag.
We got a big mailbag question, and I thought we could turn it right into a topic for the first half. And I just realized
people leave such good ones. I'll stall while you try to find your list, Cole. Sometimes people send in mailbags, and we're just like, damn, that's a good one. We should talk about that like much longer than a normal mailbag. So that's what we're going to do, I think. And I, through like some mind reading powers, I think me and Jay already know what the mailbag's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that...
Can you tell? Are you rub those eyes there?
I think Cole's...
I think we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite anime.
Yeah, something about Super Mexi asking us.
Yeah, I think Super Mexi might have asked us something in the Discord channel for mailbag. I think he said,
what a fun
what
time.
Is your top 5 favorite anime?
Shut up. Yeah. I've got it here. Super Mexi asked us a question. Patron priority mailbag.
Oh, new patron town dropped.
I made the wrong one. It's wee woo. What are each of the hosts' top 5 anime in order? We the fans officially need a list, and I thought this would be a fun first half topic.
Oh, they were supposed to be in order.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't pick that up with my telekinesis.
Well,
telepathy. Telekinesis is not what I.
Telekinesis is moving things with your mind.
If I had telekinesis, I probably would have picked that up.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't. Mm-hmm. You dropped it.
I didn't. Yeah,
you didn't. So how about we count down from 5 then?
Sure, I would love to do that, Jay.
Yeah, I like that.
Top 5. Watch Mojo.
Yeah.
How many unofficial sponsorships are we going to have this episode?
Well, I mean, Watch Mojo is. Listen, they need the love.
They need
the pop. Yeah. From this big, huge podcast. What order are we going in? Who wants to go first?
How about
Jay,
Cole,
do you want to
Mike,
go
and
first?
me? Oh, I was going to say start with Cole and go
the other way.
Let's go youngest to oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 5 favorite anime of all time is Bakuman. I think that I recently reread. Thank you. Thanks so much.
What a civilized take.
Yeah. I recently reread the entirety of the manga, and I love it. And the anime just kind of does it a lot of justice. Like, it's not a Sakuga heavy anime, but like I think what it does is like the voice acting and the music and all that like really do a good job of getting the themes and emotion of the show across really well. If I'd probably still say I prefer the manga, but like I mean it's just an animated version of that, and I love the manga.
And I mean this is your 5th favorite anime.
Yeah.
So I mean really it's kind of mid. So
True. We're not in the like number.
We're not
3.
in the top 4.
We're not in the top 3 even. Like we're
top 3 is elite. Top 5 kind of mid. Honestly.
Yeah.
Pretty mid, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But no, Bakuman, I'm not surprised at all, Jay. I've heard you talk about that so many times, and it just seems like a very J anime. I've never watched the anime. I've read a little bit of the manga.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I still remember the time when it would be a good, interesting, what were you going to say there?
Review maybe someday.
No, we've got
too many shows, too little time.
We've got our next review locked in, I think.
I'm pretty sure we know what it is. But
or our next listener's choice. I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're still tabulating the results, but we're wasting our time.
But I think we've got a link to the next show.
We're not going to need much of CodyBot's CPU on this one to calculate it.
No. My new computer. Listen, CodyBot is obsolete now. My new computer is honestly superior to CodyBot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
He knows.
CodyBot's really sad now.
Yeah.
Even though robots can't feel emotions. Very sad.
No. He was programmed to feel pain.
He's programmed to feel emotions. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Skynet's coming.
Yeah. Well, Skynet's already here. Speaking of Skynet, my number 5 favorite anime.
Did you actually rank them? You ranked them
in order? Because sure.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, like my top anime, like whenever you ask me my favorite thing is, it changes all the time. So like the ordering kind of doesn't even matter. But my number 5 favorite anime of all time is Studio Trigger's Kill la Kill. I don't know. I watched this. Thank you. This is one of like the early anime I watched that got me into anime, and it kind of is, along with the one that I almost thought about putting here, Devilman Crybaby, kind of one of the anime that kind of opened my eyes to what anime could be outside of like just your typical like shonen fare. Mm-hmm. And just the Studio Trigger of it all really blew me away too. And yeah, that's why it's here. It's so stylish. It's so aesthetic. Ryoku's awesome. The like message of it is sweet. The like theme of like people being empowered by clothing or not having clothing is like super cool. It's just it's a great anime. There's a reason why it's an all-time in my mind. And it's my number 5.
It's a very good anime. In fact, it is not on my list.
I'm not surprised at all. But I think you've both watched it, right?
I enjoy Kill la Kill. I think Jay's a little cooler on it.
I'm a little cooler on it.
Not
think
surprised,
that like
but he doesn't like Trigger.
I don't like Trigger stuff, and I think Kill la Kill was kind of my first hint at that because I really didn't like the over the top zaniness of it all.
It's so good.
No,
every time her little buddy there slides in, it's great.
And then she like flips her around her head and then just like sets her down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so Trigger. I love it.
It's quintessential Trigger, as Cole would say. As
you love Trigger, but it gets me triggered.
I'm gonna trigger your butt in a second.
Okay.
Play the what drop for that one.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Okay. What will you tell us what your number 5 is?
What? They like
Stop fighting over the soundboard.
Yeah, stop it, Jay. We can't both be on the soundboard. I am the host. Stop this.
No.
All right, okay.
The host shouldn't be on the soundboard.
My number 5. Shh.
You're busy.
This is important. This is important.
Yeah,
okay.
What's your number 5? You're mid.
My number 5 anime, and Mike's
What's
right.
Your middest of the best.
This probably changes from week to week. At least my top or my 5 and 4, but this week on Cole's list, number 5, I gotta go with Land of the Lustrous.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm noticing a theme here.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, that's a bit much.
I love how it faded out and then it came back in with a vengeance.
That was gratuitous.
No, it's gonna come back. Knowing Cole,
yeah. I'm gonna puke.
Okay, no, Land of the Lustrous. Okay, I wrote down little blurbs. Okay, so I must have Studio Orange representation on my list. Obviously,
that's
kind
of where I went
Studio
with Kill
Orange.
Kill.
Yeah.
That being said, the animation is, of course, breathtaking in ways that can only be achieved by CG. From a story standpoint, I love the literal and metaphorical destruction and reconstruction of Foss from a carefree purpose seeker to a sorrowful badass? ?
Did you write like an actual
Yeah, I wrote a
review?
little blurb. Yeah.
Oh,
it was only
cool.
like a few sentences.
I should have thought to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it was my idea, so you can't do it now.
I feel like we went in reverse order of who did the most work here, because I did 0 work for this.
Oh, I did.
Not surprised.
I spent like 15 minutes making little blurbs.
Wait a minute, this is backwards. Usually Jay puts the most work in.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
You're
right, Jay.
Foss is great.
Yeah,
I love Foss as a character. Land of the Lustrous is just an amazingly animated show. It made everybody realize that CG anime can work. And
it's kind of the first one that did that for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of a hint, but all of my top 5s, I've rewatched multiple times and they're always good.
That checks out.
Yeah. So this would be first one. Voice acting's great. Animation is, of course, great. The character development is great. The themes are great. And I mean, the manga is also great.
I spoke with you recently because I finally, just recently, I'm caught up to the manga now. I'm current on it.
Okay, no, now we need to discuss.
We'll have a discussion later. I'll go
play
give
Persona 3 while you guys talk.
Spoiler-free thoughts. I wish it would get a season 2 for Land of the Lustrous because some crazy stuff happens that is awesome animated.
Yeah,
but I don't like where it's going in the last couple chapters, and that's just what I'll say.
It's interesting, but yeah,
it's interesting. It kind of pulled a To Your Eternity on me a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, but the anime is great, and I would consider it as one of my favorite from Orange, probably.
Yeah, all of the Buddhist theming and stuff like that. It's such a unique anime. But Jay, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is so kind of like you. I had to put in a short show, a long show, and different things. So my number 4 is Gintama. It I feel like this is a show
shortest clap ever.
I feel like this is a show that just it has everything, but despite the fact that what it has in the manga, I feel like the acting and the direction kind of bring everything to life and make it feel more alive than in the manga. And at the same time, it has filler, and the filler is stuff that I didn't want to skip. It was just
I don't know, it's self-referential filler. They even reference it in the show about why they do filler. Listen, it's the best show that I've basically dropped. And
have you not officially dropped it yet?
No, I'll get back to it eventually. I have no intentions of actually dropping it. It's just, with the podcast, it's tough to tough to keep watching stuff.
But it's just kind of every time I think about this show, and I'm not really one to rewatch stuff, but I'll go back and watch OPs or clips or things, and the amount of care that is put into these characters, a lot of the comedy stuff at the beginning kind of makes like is done so well in a way that like by the time all the drama hits, you really care about everyone. You really care about like random guy B, that like it just makes the cast feel so full and so interesting.
I feel like in Gintama, a character could literally be called Random Guy B.
Yeah,
no one would bat an eye.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those shows, and then they'd complain that the writer didn't have enough brain power to think of an actual name and just be. But a
still
guy.
Has this character that is meaningless referenced multiple times in it,
and then it turns out that like he's actually like integral to the arc.
Yeah, he just couldn't come up with a name. He's not a names guy.
Yeah,
he's an ideas guy.
Yeah. But it's just such a good show. If you haven't seen it and you have the heart to watch stuff like Naruto or Bleach that are like really long, give the show a watch because it's so worth your time.
Mm-hmm. I have not watched any of it, but it's one kind of like how it's been living on Cole's paused list for forever. It's been living on my like I need to watch this show list for forever, just to understand what the hype is about like the final couple arcs there that are always like the top rated things on Mao.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm curious what the hype's all about.
Yeah, listen, it can't be that good, can it?
Maybe, probably is. Speaking of, so on my number 5 pick there, I kind of copied Cole by going with like one of probably my favorite anime from my favorite studio. But like, does it deserve to be in the top 4, the illustrious ground of the top 4? We don't know.
Who knows?
Find out soon.
On my top 4 pick, on my number 4, I copied Jay and went with a very long-running show that's in my favorites. And that would be the long-running shonen that he didn't mention a couple seconds ago when he mentioned when he mentioned Bleach and Naruto. He didn't mention One Piece, the anime. Cole had that queued up.
Yeah, he absolutely did. He knew.
And part of the reason I have this here is not only because I love One Piece, and the anime is good.
Cole, we're going to revoke your soundboard privileges.
Who gives this guy... He cannot have this much power.
Yeah.
I forgot that the booing sound effect stops and then it restarts. That was organic.
Oh, good. One Piece, super long, worth it. How can I watch 1,000-something episodes of a show and not have it in my top 5? Kind of like Jay was saying with Gintama,
it's the sunk cost fallacy. How could you possibly watch that many episodes and it not be amazing, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
Silence.
I just realized it. That's what everybody's just suffering from sunk cost fallacy. That's why everybody likes One Piece. Listen, I watched 8 million episodes of this. It has to be good.
The good arc's coming. No, I'm joking.
No, Mike, continue. I had to make a joke.
You're done. You're drinking your Spite can there.
Yeah.
Are you done spilling water all over yourself?
Enjoying your nice, beautiful can of Spite, Cole?
Big can of Spite.
Yeah.
No, One Piece, despite Cole's haterade that he spews all over the podcast, he has to admit it's an iconic anime, and it belongs in the top 5 list for sure. And the anime gets a little bit of hate for previous seasons getting a little like slow pacing after the time skip and stuff. But now that I'm in Wano and like almost caught up, it really has elevated its game lately. And if it continues looking like this and being animated like this, it's going to go to all new heights that it's never really seen since pre-time skip.
It's had like some of the best animation of the year, which is nuts.
Yeah. Like I'm starting to consider putting it in like some of our seasonal awards because it's like some of them sometimes moments that'll happen are like, what is going on? This is amazing.
Yeah. One Piece, like I'm a manga only. And I'm one of the people that says like go read the manga because you don't have to deal with all the recap and filler crap that goes on. But like even still, sometimes I'll just go over to the anime because like I hear like, oh, the animation's amazing, or like this fight or this moment was crazy in the anime. And yeah, I can't argue with that. It's definitely really good. Yeah. I think that unlike something like Gintama where like it is long, but I think it's manageable. 1,000 episodes might be a bit more daunting.
I think I look at shows differently though, and I think maybe me and Cole are opposites on this. But when I hear 1,000 episodes, if it's good, that's a good thing, because then I don't run out for like basically ever. You know, like I have a really long thing that I can just basically endlessly consume and be happy the whole time.
Yeah, I think
happy is an interesting word for One Piece, but
I think for some people,
enjoy it.
It's like, you know, they look at that number and they're like, oh, to catch up, it's going to take me a while. And because they don't have any investment yet, or like know what the show's about or what it's going to do for you, it's kind of like that. I don't like that tall wall that you have to get over to be caught up, right?
But if you look at it as like, oh, I got to catch up on this right away, yeah, it's going to be intimidating. But if you kind of just look at it as like, oh, one day I'll catch up, I'll just enjoy the ride, then it's not so daunting, right? It's just it's just like a friend you have along the way. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Cole, what's your number 4?
It's my turn. Okay, my number 4, another show that I've rewatched many times and that should win our next listener's choice review, but unfortunately it's doesn't seem like it's going to. Whoops. I was a little premature on that button press. Sound Euphonium. Okay, Sound Euphonium. My number 4 anime of all time. And you're probably thinking, what? That's crazy. Listen, I've watched Sound Euphonium like 4 times. And I always put it on.
Stop.
That's
gross.
not the one I clicked. But
that was not me.
You guys are banned from the soundboard. Stop.
That's not even the one I clicked. I did this.
Yeah, good.
No, it's not even gonna make a sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Oh no. Okay. So, Sound Euphonium, one of the most purely beautiful anime. Straight up, it is. With great character development and character dynamics, a really good ensemble show with a reluctant and relatable lead in Kumiko. Also, it makes me care about brass band. Who would have thought that? The competition performances are so great. They're so suspenseful. It is the best non-sports sports anime on the market. It's a sports anime. I realized that when I was like coming up with my stuff. Yeah, it's basically a sports anime, but it's about band nerds, which is more relatable to me. Yeah, I mean the character dynamics between everything, the I don't want to say drama because it's the drama between the characters is interesting. Kumiko's great because she's thrust into these situations where she has to like solve things. Yeah, it's just it's good. We should review it. Say on a listener's choice review.
If Cole enjoy that cope.
Yeah, I know.
And someone actually asked, I think this is a good time to bring this up. Someone asked I think Mogmog asked in our patron channel on the Discord, if we can say Sound Euphonium were to lose this race for listener's choice. We don't know yet. The results aren't in. But say it does.
We can make an educated guess.
We can make a guess. Can we just, if you have the next review, actually, could you immediately just make us review it?
I do.
Jay does.
Well, sorry.
But I could.
Jay does. But you could. I think we discussed before that like you kind of have to like hold off a little bit.
You got to give it a little bit of a buffer.
You got to give it some breathing room.
Yeah.
But it could come up as a review in the future.
It's not off the list. It's just not at the top of the list anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, theoretically, by losing a listener's choice, that means that nobody wants to watch it, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's rude. Anyway. But listen, every time you see a YouTube video where they're discussing great animation, Sound Euphonium always comes up. Specifically that scene where Kumiko is like running down the bridge. It's
KyoAni
just
does some good looking stuff.
It's great, yeah. And this isn't the last KyoAni product that is on my list. Hint, hint.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay, what's your number 3?
My number 3. So I presented a long show. I presented a 3-season show, and now I'm going to give you a movie.
A movie
for my number 3. This is probably my favorite anime movie, and that is Makia When the Promised Flower Blooms. I Can Talk Today.
Wow.
I was not expecting the fine boom. Just like I think personally that this was Mari Okada's magnum opus. Just like, I love the story.
It's me, Mario Kart.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you guys for listening. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I thought you were serious.
No, I actually am serious. I quit.
$1 in the jar. There you go.
Yeah,
Mario coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like, I love this. I love the story of like an immortal being raising a child as her son and watching him grow while she doesn't age at all. It kind of has like that free ren aspect to it, where like, you know, you're someone is immortal and doesn't age really, and everyone around them is just kind of growing up. But the thing I love so much about it is like the relationship between Maki and Ariel, and seeing the dynamic change as he gets older, and the horror of like watching the child die before her, which is something that parents don't really like happening. I don't know.
No, I would think not.
That's true. Yeah.
It just like, I feel like this movie is just it's a beautiful movie. I'm the one who's known for crying a lot, and I had to pause this movie a lot of times.
Couldn't read the subs through the tears.
That doesn't surprise me. I like Makia.
I recently heard Trash Taste describe it as a better version of a show that we reviewed on Ohana. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think it's by the same guy, isn't it? No, I could be wrong. Totally wrong. I'm making stuff up.
Mario Kata did do Anohana, but like,
yes.
So yes is what you're saying?
Yes.
Kind of.
But like,
technically,
I don't really
the
relate.
Same person created it.
The same person created it. But like, I don't really think the stories are.
I don't think that they're comparable.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
No.
I haven't watched it, so that's
I
all
mean,
I know
maybe
about it.
from like a thematic sense, like the theme of like letting go, I guess, kind of. But yeah, no, they're
So you're saying L take by Trash Taste on that one?
I'm saying problematic take from Trash Taste.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Giant question mark from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good. I have it on the Blu-rays.
I also have it on the Blu-rays.
I watched it
Right there, I think.
when I had COVID.
Oh yeah.
Jay, we believe you. You don't have to grab it.
Yeah, which time?
The first time.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
No time like the first time.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Makia.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's still alive.
Hardly knew ya.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Cool. Number 3, the third best anime that I have here. And I know it's one that you guys like as well, and that we have all watched. And it is the anime series commonly known as Konosuba. Why this drop?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. You know what? I was thinking about it recently, and I'm like, you know what? Konosuba is like one of my favorite anime. It's like, it's just good fun. It's got the right vibe, it's got just the right amount of ecchi, just the right amount of fun. Just like the jokes all land in it. The characters are all likable. Like you could literally say who's best girl in Konosuba, and you could say almost any character, and they're good. And Kazuma's hilarious, even though he's like a stinker a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit of a stinker, but they're all stinkers.
They're all stinkers. It's fun. It's like basically anime fantasy isekai Seinfeld, and it's great. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. It is like Seinfeld. Yeah. It's anime Seinfeld.
They're kind of all bad people, and like they all kind of never really get anywhere because they're just bad people, but like it's fun to watch them just be, or like I guess anime Always Sunny in Philadelphia is the more modern comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to season 3. I think comes out right away.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
No, Konosuba, great. Definitely comparable with Jay's pick in Gintama, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I like Konosuba more.
Funniness?
Yeah, it's the brevity in Konosuba, I think, is probably
gets in, gets out. Yeah,
more of a selling feature. I also have a soft spot for the movie because I've told the story on the pod before. Was one of my favorite movie going experiences. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, but you had a weird guy sitting next to you who wouldn't stop bugging you.
Oh. He kept trying to lick me. It was weird.
Yeah. Sleep on your floor.
Yeah. He kept trying to sleep on my floor.
Yeah. Cole, can I sleep on your floor?
If you pay for half of the room fees, you can be
get the floor. Not even a second bed, just the floor.
You can be the proud owner.
Cole needs his king bed. Hotel rooms don't come with. Yeah,
I need my king size bed. You can sleep on the chair.
Yeah, he's a Hime-dere. Remember?
Oh,
yeah.
True.
Yeah. No, great.
That sounds more like Mario than a Hime.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Konosuba. You guys like Konosuba too. I know. I just thinking about it, and I feel like it doesn't get included in lots of top lists, but I think it deserves to be here for sure, in my opinion. That's why I put it at number 3. Yeah. And now we're into top 3 with Cole.
Yeah, it's my third. We're not in the top 2 yet. Hold on.
Hold on.
Just chill. My number 3 used to be my number 2, but a number 2 has since taken its place. And like Jay, it's a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It is A Silent Voice.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my god!
Welcome to a bonus episode?
Oh my god, indeed. Yeah, so one of my favorite movies of all time, period. This is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
A tight narrative about a remorseful main character struggling to find forgiveness from those he harmed in the past, himself included. So, listen, I'm doing pretty good with these.
Yeah.
It's not about romance. It's about learning to love yourself and forgive yourself, of course, as well.
Well, it's romantic self-love.
It's also there's some romance in it too.
I mean, a little bit, but people overhype the romance in A Silent Voice.
The romance isn't really the point of A Silent Voice. Yeah.
I think it's to get the normies
for
in.
The romance. Yeah. I mean,
it's
it's like how Suzume was. Like they just had to include a romance in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what gets the people going, right? So many things do it. Lord of the Rings did it too. There was no romance in the books between Aragorn and what's her name. They put it in the movies though. It's just it's a money making tactic.
Yeah, it's to sell tickets, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the movie. Again, great animation. I remember the ending of that movie being so impactful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so good. Très bien. Well done.
I really like it too. It's one of those ones similar to my Kill la Kill on my number 5 there that I watched it very early on and I've never rewatched it. I read the manga since, and I'm just curious. I want to rewatch it sometime soon, maybe for like a review or something like that, just to kind of just to see what I think now after that I'm a grizzled
old man
who's seen, I think, like 300, 400 something anime now.
Well, I know that you own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, because I think you gave it to me when you got the Steelbook or something, right?
Yeah, I gave it to you because I have the Steelbook edition. And not to brag, not to flex on y'all, but I have the Steelbook edition.
Look at this guy flexing. Look at this guy flexing.
This guy. You put that in your PS5?
I put it up my butt. What?
Whoa.
What?
Which way?
Yeah, I remember reading the manga and being a little underwhelmed by it, and then watching the movie and being like, this is so much better.
Well, honestly, I still haven't read the manga despite owning it. It's there. Just trust me, it's there. I was gifted it on my 30th birthday by some wonderful people. I don't remember who though.
If only they were still with us to this day.
If only they were still with us. Yeah. Rest in peace.
If only.
But the movie as a standalone thing is just it's so good. So good.
It's one of the ones that I recommend to people as like kind of how I said Kill la Kill and like Devilman Crybaby opened my eyes to like new anime possibilities. This as a movie kind of opened my eyes a little bit too to like, oh, we can tell stories like this.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. My younger sister hates anime. She cringes whenever I talk about it. So I talk about it all the time when she's around.
Right.
This would be one I'd be like, okay, watch this. Yeah. Watch this one.
Yeah.
For if you know somebody, and for the certain type of person, this might get them into anime. I would say a silent voice.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't even think it needs to get them into anime. I think it's just like, look, there is like it's not just movie. It's not just Dragon Ball Z. It's
I think it kind of has that same power as Ghibli in that way, where like people can just enjoy it and have a good time. Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly with that take, Jay. Number two, Jay, it's your turn.
Number 2 is probably the most recent show I've watched on this list, and it's a show that like made me think a lot more than I've thought about like the world and like real and like life and shit like that. And that's Kino's Journey.
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid. You're stupid.
Didn't you just watch this?
Yeah, which is kind of,
and it's made the list.
Yeah,
I know. I was waiting for Jay to do this. I knew he would put one that he like watched very recently in here.
Number 2?
It's nuts though. Like
he went nuts when he was watching it. So
it's a really, really good show. Tackling like different ideas of like war and like adulthood and childhood and like many different things, and like a lot of stuff that really makes you think. I don't clarify.
You're talking about the original Kino's Journey, not the
original
remake,
one.
correct?
Yes, correct. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that the remake is not as good.
People always say that, but yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. It is a much more episodic show than any of the other shows we talked about here, but like every episode is so impactful, so different, and like I think like the message of like the world is not beautiful, but therefore it is like such an interesting one.
Yep.
I love Kino, I love Hermes, I love the world that they all live in, how it reflects our own. Such a good show. The direction, it's great. Go watch it. Cole Shaft helped out on it. I
mean, lots of studios help out on lots of shows. I couldn't even begin to tell you my thoughts on this. I don't know anything about Kino's Journey at all.
It's one nobody ever really talks about, but it's been on my plan to watch. I think pretty much ever since I watched Mushishi, because I've heard they're kind of in the same vein a little bit. And I will watch it one day, and I kind of already know that I'll like it just because I do like that kind of like introspective type story.
Yeah, it's basically about a traveler named Kino traveling on their bike. They're talking motorcycle around the world and visiting different countries and seeing like how they operate and the different things about that. It's and there's a lot more there, but like it's so good. Go watch it.
You sold me on it.
I think this is our oldest anime on the top 5s, right? This is 2001 or something?
2003.
2003? Okay. Yeah. So this is probably going to be the oldest one on here. One Piece, technically.
Yeah, One Piece. Yeah. One Piece is older.
Yeah. And also Cole's number 2, probably, I'm thinking.
I was waiting. I'm pretty sure I know what his top 2 are. But we'll get there.
I think so, too.
My top 2, I wonder if you know what they are.
We'll find out soon. In fact, right now, you're going to find out my number 2. My number 2 anime. When you ask me, hey, what are your top 5 anime in order? And then I missed the in order part. This is just how it shook out. This is my number 2. A little anime. It's a romance and it's a comedy. It's Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Wow! Congratulations!
Hey, Chica almost. It could have been Chica.
Congratulations.
But it's the perfect mix of like romance with like psychological stuff going on, and it's just a fun show with like that's just wholesome and warming, and it just makes me feel good and I enjoy it. It's got a great sub and dub. I prefer the sub for this one, but I've seen clips of the dub and it's just like insane and wild.
The dub does seem fun for it, actually.
Yeah.
It seems like they were creative in the dub.
Yeah, I think comedies generally lend themselves to dub a little bit because jokes are part of the culture. But anyway, Kaguya-sama. When I made my list, I realized that 3 of my top 5 all start with K. which is just an interesting little tidbit there. What do you guys think of? I've recently almost finished the manga for this one as well, and I'm excited for where things go from here. It's a lot of fun. And what do you guys think of Kaguya-sama Love is War?
I mean, I think it's pretty universally enjoyed by all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. The comedy does land. It's one of the best comedies.
And I think that it's nuts that like comedy is kind of like a thing that Aka Akasaka's editor just kind of was like, hey, you should throw that in, and it works. Like,
yeah. Also, the mangaka's name is Aka
Akasaka, and the reason is because fun. If you go on a Japanese phone, Aka Akasaka is like just the middle row down and up.
Thank you.
Fun fact.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. But it's great. It's animated well. It's got a great, fun soundtrack. It's fantastic.
It's got one of the best meme EDs. And then and then they tried to redo it in the second season, and they just fumbled the bag.
Unless you're Jay.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jay. Yeah.
I guarantee there's a larger group of people that
I'm
enjoy
sure
it.
people like it.
And the only reason there's a majority here is because the two of you didn't.
Yes. That is literally what is happening.
You, an enjoyer of that one and a resident contrarian, must admit that the Chica dance is like an all-timer.
It's good, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's all time. There's a guy on TikTok who was doing the Chica dance every day on TikTok until he got a girlfriend.
Did he get one?
Yeah, eventually he did.
Wow.
And like it was tied to the Chica dance.
That's for that guy. Good job.
But it's a great anime with great characters. I don't know. Top two for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like your top two.
Thank you.
Well, your number two.
My number two. Number two.
Mm-hmm. Cole, what's your number two?
Number two.
Okay.
Cole, what's your number two?
You guys know what my number two is. Do I even need to say it?
I know what your top two are.
I know what your top two are, but I don't know the order. I don't know if you've officially like changed your ways and accepted your current reality.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. My number two anime is Bocchi the Rock.
Oh,
get it? There's drumming in Bocchi the Rock. Yeah,
very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's funny. Of course, the animation is absurd and amazing. But at the end of the day, it's all about Bocchi growing as a performer and a person. I also want to say this. Bocchi is not, despite how many times she says it, Bocchi is not an introvert. She wants friends. She wants to be with her friends, but she has extreme social anxiety. I see a lot of myself in Bocchi. Bocchi is me for real, for real. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, Bocchi the Rock is my number two. What did you guys think it was?
Well, I think that there's an anime that's going to get snubbed from your list that for a long time you identified yourself a lot with.
I'll explain my snubbing after.
We'll explain some snubs at the end.
Yeah.
But Bocchi, now that as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, of course. Yeah. That would supplant that for sure.
It's another one of those shows. Like I just randomly started, like I just wanted to watch an episode. I'm on like episode 10 now. Like I can't get enough of Bocchi the Rock. It's so good. The music is so good. The animation is so good. The voice acting, the comedy in it, like it is just a tremendously good
it's kind
show.
of a complete show, really, when you think about it. Like it's kind of got it all. It's got, like you said, the comedy bits all land. And it's got like a deeper meaning to it as well. And it's got likable characters as well.
I mean, the dramatic bits. I just watched the episode where at the end Nijika is talking with Bocchi outside of the restaurant, and she realizes who Bocchi is. It's just so good. Like even the dramatic points in the show hit. Like Nijika and Bocchi are just the dramatic core of the show, and it's
the dramatic core.
I feel like with Bocchi, they could
my favorite Transformer dramatic core.
I feel like they could have so easily fumbled the bag with Bocchi.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have made Bocchi like so unrelatable and annoying. They could have made like the whole thing not work. And it was just, they just swung the bat and just hit a home run and just no problems, you know? Like,
it's great. And it's new. Like, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like,
is this our newest show on the list now?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's technically nominated right now for a Crunchyroll Award for last year.
Yeah.
Came out the year
Technically, One Piece is still airing.
True.
Yep.
True.
Technically, it's the oldest and the newest.
Yeah, technically.
How
Wow.
about that?
Good for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Bocchi the Rock, great choice though.
Bocchi the Rock.
It is a
really
good show. Yeah.
I'm noticing a trend with our lists here. Cole, you like shows.
Oh, I will tell you the trend of my shows. Yeah.
There's definitely a trend, and I think we should discuss. I was going to discuss it now, but maybe we'll wait till after our number ones are revealed.
Yeah, let's discuss it after the number ones. We can talk about our snubs and our trends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, it's your turn to reveal your number one anime of all time. You brought your dog into... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It is Jaylian's turn.
Mike can do it first.
right.
That's fine.
No, I screwed up in the order, Jay. It's your turn.
Okay.
Orders
fine.
are confusing. There's 3 of us, for goodness sake.
Fine.
How am I supposed to remember?
I'll reveal my favorite anime of all time if it's not already evident. My favorite anime is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I love the idea of like tackling one's youth and how like the supernatural aspect is kind of like a metaphor for the issue that the person's going through. And yeah, I get the like comparison to it being Monogatari-esque, but I feel like the fact that it like each affliction, it kind of is tied to the person and what they're going through, and them solving it kind of ties into their character development, I think makes it a little bit better in my eyes. There are some things that I think Monogatari does better, but that's neither here nor there. And like I just think that like Sakura and Mai have one of my favorite romantic relationships in anime, being like one where like if a problem happens, it doesn't like turn to this dramatic thing where like the world is ending and everything. No, they talk it out and things are fine. It just feels more natural, more realistic, and it makes the show more enjoyable. So
here's my thing with the Rascal versus Monogatari thing, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Just let me say what I'm going to say.
I'll let you cook.
He means it in a bad way.
Monogatari is the thinking man's Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. And I mean that in the sense that Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai is probably more accessible than Monogatari is.
Probably. I think like Nishi Oishin's probably just a better writer.
Yeah, like there's just more going on, so it can be hard for people to keep up with. Where like if you watch Monogatari and maybe you're like, maybe it's not for me. It was a bit too wordy and crazy.
I think that's the thing. Nishi Oishin's very he's a lot more he has a style where like it's very wordy and he cares a lot about wordplay. And if that's not your thing, then it probably won't interest you.
Yeah. Bunny Girl Senpai is just a bit more straightforward. Yeah. And therefore I think that'd probably be more accessible than Monogatari is. I wouldn't recommend Monogatari to like an early anime watcher, but I probably would recommend Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah.
I think you can be in the same category and kind of in the same vibe, but the making comparisons don't necessarily mean one's better or worse than the other. Yeah. It's just which one you like more, right?
Yeah.
And just saying, I don't think like, remember when we watched Hanako-kun, I said like, this is like diet Monogatari. Because I think it's just like a less intense version of it. I don't know I haven't watched Bunny Girl Senpai, but I don't think from what I can tell that people would say that about this. I think they're on the same footing, just in different. One's like a sour cream glazed donut. One's a apple fritter. They're just kind of the same thing, but a little bit
similar,
different.
but different. Yeah. They're the same, but not the same. Also,
when you were talking about Nisio Isen, it made me realize is he maybe like the Quentin Tarantino of the anime world a little bit? Like just loves wordplay, loves like long dialogue scenes with like super kind of off the wall weirdness going on.
Yeah.
Weird fetishistic stuff going on too.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe you're onto something. Mike's onto something. We're copywriting it.
We're cooking. Yeah.
We are cooking, and this meal will be delicious. Now, Mike, what are you cooking up for your number one anime? Well, even though we all know what it is.
We all know what it is.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I should have worn my shirt for it. Instead, I wore my Chainsaw Man shirt. My favorite anime, if you haven't guessed already, is Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. It partially is one of the things that got me into anime again as an adult. I know the story gets dunked on by people, by the AOT haters, but I love the story of it. And I think that it does an interesting thing where it has so many plot twists, but it keeps them fresh and entertaining, and it manages to make them not feel like assholes all the time. Like they really kind of just, it works. And the way when you initially watch the show, you're watching a completely different show, and then like at a certain point it keeps changing into different genres within itself, and all the while it's making you ask like deep introspective questions about like society, yourself, people's role in society, destiny, fate, all sorts of things like that. And it's just it's fantastic. It's my number one for sure. This is when I was making my list, I wrote AOT on my whiteboard here, and then I was like, damn, what else do I put on this list? So that really tells you how much I love AOT. And I'm still a little sad it's done, but it's bittersweet. It's great.
Yeah, it's a happy sad.
Yeah,
it's a sad happy.
Happy sad.
Yeah. And in other unsurprising number ones, Cole, what is your number one?
My number one. Hold on, I wrote a thing. My number one is March Comes In Like a Lion. I've told you guys before that. No, why you're not surprised? I've told you guys this before. Mike mentioned like, has he finally accepted? Of course I have. Yeah. Of course I've accepted that March Comes In Like a Lion is my favorite. Now, if you will, I wrote a thing. Okay, number one, March Comes In Like a Lion. Duh.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gush about this show all the time.
That's why I was just like, let's just say our number ones. Everybody knows them. Jay's maybe came as a bit of a surprise, but not that as much as
Jay doesn't gush about his number one as much as you and I do.
He doesn't. He doesn't want to get hurt like you or I.
I've also like done a whole video about it. I don't need to gush about it anymore.
Oh yeah. Jay's plug for his YouTube channel. Yeah,
go check it out. Jay Garridian.
Yeah.
It's on his Twitter.
Yeah, March Comes In Like a Lion. It's a beautiful show. Great characters. I love like the bullying arc in the second season of March Comes In Like a Lion is my favorite arc. So good and tasty.
It's good and tasty. It's a good show. It's not in my top 99 even. No, I'm kidding. It's a top tier anime, and I'd recommend it to anyone. If you think you have similar taste to Cole, you'll enjoy it. It's good.
Yeah,
I think too.
It does have good OPs. I think like some might think it's a little boring with how like slow it can be, but like it does have like what it does have is like it has good characters. The direction's phenomenal, and everything else aside from the pacing is really good.
As someone who did get bored watching it, I agree with what you're saying, Jay. Like it is one that you kind of have to have a good attention span to watch, I'd say, especially with that longer runtime as well.
You need that laser focus like me.
I think one of the big things, one of the big things that kind of detracted it from me is when March Comes In Like a Lion was first coming out. I was talking to my friend about it, and I was like, "Oh, have you seen, like this show looks cool?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've kind of read the manga a little bit, and it's kind of boring." And I was like, I'll give it a try anyway. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, kind of boring. So it might be the result of a preconceived notion that I got. But
I don't want to dunk on Cole's favorite anime all the time.
Week 2 of Mike and Jay dunking on Cole.
I'm not dunking on. I'm just saying I understand what Jay's saying, but I genuinely think March Comes In Like a Lion. Like I think I rated it like an 8.6 or something.
Oh no,
I
know that
really
you
enjoyed it.
I know that you like March Comes In Like a Lion, and I think Jay does too. He's just a hater.
He just is. Yeah,
he's just a hater. Now let's talk about
the obvious snub that Cole left off his list. Yes, I can hear the music beginning for the break, like somewhere off in the distance. But let's talk about our snubs a little bit. I think the obvious one is Cole snubbed Evangelion, which is the one Cole was convinced for the longest time that it was.
It definitely still has a place in my heart, and it would be in my top 10 for sure. I mean, look right above my head. I've got 2 Oscars above me. Right. Evangelion, of course, is one of my favorite. It's just interesting thing about Evangelion. I've never rewatched Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That is weird. That kind of tells a little bit about it, I think.
I've rewatched the movies, And I love I like the ending of the Rebuild movies more. No, I wouldn't say that. I like them as much as the original Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for that reason, like all 5 of mine I've rewatched multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't struggle rewatching them. They're good. Another one, Toradora, same thing.
Yeah, I was surprised Toradora. I thought Toradora would be on your list, but I'm not stunned after your comments on the review we did where you said there's better romance out there.
I take that back. I don't know what I was thinking. Hold on, I'm just gonna look at my if you guys got any snubs off the top of your head, I'm gonna pull up my Annie list quickly.
I don't know, because like my top 5 was just my Annie list top 5 because I ordered them.
Yeah, but you actually like regularly think about this and put thought into your top 5. So like yours was probably very easy to come up with.
Yeah, I literally just like went, okay, it's on my Annie list. Perfect.
Yeah. I feel like if we were to do a top 10, I bet you ReZero makes its way into multiple lists of ours. I think it's in probably all of our top 10 or close to top 10 if I had to guess.
I mean, maybe top 15.
In terms of like sci-fi for me, I'd probably put Psycho Pass ahead of it, which almost made the list as well. That'd be in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other one I feel I got snubbed a little bit more among you two because I'm not particularly the biggest Fate fan, but I feel like Fate, you guys talk about Fate for a lot for it not being on any of these lists.
Yeah, Fate is specifically the second Heaven's Feel movie, but like Fate in general was number 6.
For me, I love Fate. I love Fate as a franchise. I really like the shows, but I don't know if I like them enough to like put them in my top 10.
There's a lot of anime like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like
top 10.
Yeah. I really like Fate, but in terms of trends for me, the trend I noticed was I don't necessarily like external conflict in my anime. I like internal conflict. More than like action heavy stuff. Yeah. I'd rather like some of my shows don't even have like an antagonist in them. They're just purely internal struggles. Mm-hmm. The main character is their own antagonist.
Yeah.
And I like
man versus self stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like man versus self. And then me,
man versus food.
Yeah. Me, I like anime that start with the letter K apparently and fun anime other than Attack on Titan.
It can be fun.
But I like fun anime or anime that have like a deeper philosophical meaning to it. I do enjoy like a little bit of philosophy.
No, I like Mike's pronunciation.
Yeah. I do like a little bit of philosophy in my anime. It's just, I feel like it makes what you're watching better if it can teach you something about yourself or the world. And I feel like all of my anime kind of do that a little bit. And Jay, what do you feel is the running thread amongst your list?
I think for me, the common thread, I don't know, because like I think it might be like that melancholy, like character interaction, but like not really, because like Kino's Journey's kind of, it has that, but like it's more just like philosophical ideas about the world, which completely breaks every other show in my top 5. So like I don't know.
I had to guess what the thread in yours is. It's that you cry when watching all of these.
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment. That's all.
And then Gintama, you cry with laughter. Is it?
Yeah, I cried watching Gintama.
It's got the cry elements, I think, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was good. I liked this. I liked delving into our psyche.
You get to know a little bit more about us as your hosts. By
you get to pick your favorite host and your least favorite host.
Comment who had the best list. Whose list do you most identify with?
You know what?
What your favorite top 5 are.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Comment who you identify with. But remember, these are our favorite shows. So, I mean,
be nice.
Nobody likes having their stuff poo-pooed.
I mean, I get it. My shows are terrible and I should rethink my entire reality. But like, you don't need to say that.
They're not, Jay. They're not terrible. It's your top 5.
My top show has a dude in a man bun, so think about that.
Yeah, my top show's main character is a guy with glasses who plays shogi professionally.
My favorite show starts with a girl in a bunny suit. So I mean,
that's true.
Actually,
listen, we're all kind of.
I think I need like
Yeah, my cup runneth dry.
Yeah, I keep pouring my water all over myself. I need to go change.
You need to fill it up more so that you can spill more on yourself. Let's go to a break.
My break.
We have fun here on the Anime Protagonist podcast, and we're so glad that you're here. That you're here to watch us make fools of ourselves and discuss this season of anime. There's a lot of great shows this season in anime, and there's some not so good shows. But listen. I try to do segues and do introductions.
Welcome back to the Anime Protagonist podcast.
Hey, no, you can't do that now.
You know what?
Yes.
Crazy take here. Segue, kind of overrated a little bit sometimes. There's nothing wrong with just coming back to just like not a segue, just come back, you know?
Yeah, they're
But
hard
not
to
everything
drive.
has to be fancy. Not everything
They're
has
hard
to be
to
fancy.
drive. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
Do you wear a helmet when you drive a Segway, or do you not?
Probably should. Depends on the
Probably
driver.
should.
That's sad.
Yeah.
When they hit, they hit.
They do hit.
That's right. It's a risky move, maybe is
It's a high risk, high reward move, maneuver.
Sometimes they flop, sometimes they don't. But
yeah,
sometimes the flops are funny though.
This is hitting.
Yeah, is this peak content? Yeah,
this is peak segueing back into the episode. I think.
Yeah,
I think agree. The fans really they're gonna comment below and they're gonna say what a terrific reintro from the break.
Yeah,
and we need that.
Yeah, and we're gonna read every single comment that says what a great reintro that is commented.
Well, we are gonna read every single comment. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yes,
but like we're gonna read every one of those comments on air is what I meant. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, what?
Yeah, we're gonna go through. We're gonna say, and so said. Oh no, we'll ignore that one. That was.
That one was a bit much.
That one's a bit too nice.
Yeah.
So I figured we'll just go through our drafts that we did. We'll go in reverse order. So we'll start with the final pick, which was mine. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, boys and listeners, boys and girls. There's a couple of my shows I haven't watched. Not for my fault. One of them I can't watch, and that's the first one, Michi. There's no way to watch it.
So, where it has to be available somewhere, right?
Well,
is it just not available in our glorious nation? I don't even know. But I know I haven't heard anything about this one, probably because nobody can watch it.
Yeah, I think nobody picked it up.
Let's No. Oh my goodness.
I have it pulled up here, and there is nothing listed for a streaming service over here.
Kylo's upset about that. Yeah.
I wonder if there's fireworks going on outside. He's very upset. Poor guy. Kylo's my dog, to listeners, if you're confused.
I sneezed. I don't know if...
I stepped away from the mic to inhale. Michi, unfortunately, I haven't watched it, so I really have nothing to say about it. Now, Mike, your last overall pick was Mr. Villain's Day Off. Have you watched this? Please tell me you've watched this.
I have watched one episode of this, because I just felt like I should for this episode. And it's kind of just a nice, fun show. It's kind of what you expect it to be. It was no surprise for me, but it's basically like the main character's like he's in the League of Supervillains, and there's like a League of Justice he fights against, but that's his day job.
Justice League, if you will.
I think they literally call themselves like the League of Justice or something like that. But essentially he just keeps like his regular day job is to be this super villain. He's going to destroy the world. But that's not today. It's the weekend. It's his day off.
Yeah.
So he just kind of does like fun things. Like he goes to the grocery store to get his favorite ice cream. Guess what? The ice cream sold out. And so he has to decide a favorite ice cream. Yep. But It's just silly fun. If you like stuff like The Way of the Husband and stuff like that, where it kind of plays like a, what do you call it? Like a 4-koma type manga, like a very like very just multiple little skits.
Yeah,
it's a good fun show. I'd recommend it to people. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. I plan to continue watching this one for sure. It's just like there's so much I'm watching right now that it's tough to really. Like
it's a lot of good shows.
There's a lot of good shows, and a lot of good stuff continued from the last season. So
yeah. Well, we'll go through the lists and then we'll talk about some shows that weren't drafted, because let me tell you, there was one that we didn't draft that I'm having a blast watching. But Jay,
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Jay are both having a blast watching, despite what Jay says. Jay's gonna pretend like he's not watching it, but we know the truth.
Oh, that show. Okay.
Yes,
but Jay, are you watching The Foolish Angel Dances with the Devil?
I am.
Oh, you are?
Okay. I wasn't sure about this one. I knew you were watching most of your others, but
no, I watched all of them. This show is very interesting because like I wouldn't say like it's good in like the traditional sense, but like I thought it was pretty funny. Like the basic setup is the main character is a demon coming to the human realm to kind of recruit humans to the demon realm because they need help in the battle against the angels. And so like on the first day he meets this girl who like is being really nice to him. And he's like, oh, maybe I should try and recruit her. Turns out she's an angel. And
happens.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah. As it happens. And the basic premise of it is like now they're just kind of trying to one up each other to make them swoon for each other because they just want the emotional high ground. And it's
so
all
it's kind of Kaguya-sama-y a little bit. Like that kind of like romance that's like also a competition thing going on.
A little bit. But it's also just kind of like silly fun. There's no like it's not really deep or anything, but I think it's funny, and I think like if you like that kind of thing, then it would be worth checking out maybe like 3 episodes.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
So
you're gonna continue it though, obviously? Yeah. Okay.
Next up is my next pick, which was The Demon Prince of Momochi House.
Tell me about it. Tell me all about Momochi
I'll tell you all
House.
about it when I watch it. I'll tell you about it.
We need to get you off Farm Simulator.
Yeah.
Is what we
Listen,
need to do.
I got a new PC. And there's a lot of shows to watch this season.
Let me tell you, there's a little website called Crunchyroll. You just
There's
put it
a
on
lot
one or
of
two
shows.
Well, you
monitors.
don't really have an excuse for like not watching this show because
it's available.
It's available.
Oh yeah, no, this one's on me.
Yeah.
This one's absolutely on me. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Let us know by the end of the season, though. Yeah.
I will watch it. Listen, my assignment is to watch it by the end of the season.
We need to change that to by this episode, I think.
Probably, but not this week.
Be at least caught up by this episode.
Not this season. Not this season.
I think the rule going forward should be like the shows you draft are your priority.
I think you must at least watch one episode going forward by this episode.
Listen, you guys are really dwelling on my inadequacies. And listen, this is
your punishment.
We've
discussed punishments.
We should probably discuss Mike's next show, Dr. Ellis, the Royal Lady with the Lamp.
Yes, Dr. Elise.
Elise, I'm so sorry. Listen,
yes,
I'm gifted in other ways. Mike, why don't you tell us about this?
As Cole's hoping and praying that I haven't watched this.
I know you have. I know you have. You guys
Yeah.
hold this over me every goddamn
Watch your damn
time.
shows then. We won't hold it
Cole,
over
watch
you.
your shows.
Yeah.
Every goddamn time we do one of these episodes, you guys
It's
lord
asking
this
20
over me.
minutes of your time.
Look at me. I watched all of my shows. I did my assignment. Look at me. Look at how much more superior
Cole,
I
were
am
you the
to
guy
Cole.
in high school who would like not do their homework and then like everyone else would be like, I did my homework?
Yeah.
Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, I was a terrible student.
Yeah.
but we don't need to dwell on that.
We're talking about Dr. Elise.
Yeah, we're talking about Dr.
history.
Elise. Yeah.
Dr.
And
Release.
so yeah, I've watched I think 2 or 3 episodes of this show, and it starts off with a pretty interesting premise where she's basically it starts off she is a successful doctor, and she's like saving people, but here's the twist that comes out is she actually has been reversed. She's been isekai'd into like our real world.
Whoa.
So like she was a princess in another world known as Elise. And then she got isekai'd into this world after like she was a horrible person, and like tragedy befell her family and all this stuff because of her. And then she became a better person in this new world. And then she goes back to her old life.
Oh my God.
The rare double isekai.
We got the double isekai, Jay.
Dang.
Have a drink.
The double isekai. Hold on.
Is that on the bingo card?
No, double.
No.
I've never seen it done before. The double isekai.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
Look, if you were about to put your bingo chip on isekai, take it right off because
put it back on. Double isekai.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that it's kind of not living up to the hype, or there wasn't any hype either to begin with. But it's just kind of not done very well. It's just it doesn't look great. It kind of doesn't flow well. Doesn't it just kind of falls short of the mark.
Are you saying that the most hype that's come out of the show is us being hyped about it being a double isekai?
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
Disappointing.
It's like a very fine show is maybe how I'd put it. And I don't know if I'm going to continue it. At this point, it's a pretty promising candidate to drop it, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So we've got our first potential drop. Jay, next up, you've got Bucchigiri.
I do have Bucchigiri.
Have you watched this show?
I did watch this show.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah. So the basic premise of this show is the main character gets transferred into this like delinquent high school. And he meets like the one girl in his class who's like actually like cute and innocent and everything, and he's like, and he wants to rizz her up, right? So like he tries to do that, and meanwhile like everyone in the school is like all like trying to beat him up because he's like a wimpy guy, until he comes across this shrine that has a genie that grants him a wish of like he wants a girlfriend. I think like the actual line he says is like, I want to lose my virginity. So like to grant that wish, he combines like he morphs with the genie to like to fight back against the delinquents. And all the delinquents he fights back against end up like kind of falling in love with him because of how strong he ends up being.
This is like the most confusing and insane plot I've heard in a little while.
Basically,
I need to watch
this.
This sounds so stupid. I need to watch it right now.
It's very stupid, but it's also like a lot of fun. It's got like, I can definitely see the like Skate the Infinity vibes in there. I can also see like a little bit of Beelzebub.
Okay.
So his bullies are like the girls.
They're all guys, but they're all
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's like a there's semi BL undertones with it, similar to like the Skate the Infinity vibes you're talking about there, and like Yuri on Ice and whatever.
Yeah. But like it does have some pretty good Sakuga, if that's what you're looking for. Like probably not like the best Sakuga, but like it's fun. I'd say if you like stuff like Skate the Infinity or like any like delinquent show, like Beelzebub, like I mentioned, you'd probably be into this. And like I'm probably going to continue it for now, but I'm not sure if I'll watch it all the way through.
He's on the fence, ladies and gentlemen.
He's on the fence, yeah.
He's perched upon the fence.
I'll let you know by the time we do our seasonal awards for sure. I plan to check this one out just because I'm kind of the Mappa-stan of the podcast, and I'm still pissed that Jay stole this one from me.
Yeah, well, I'm happy about it.
I'm sure you are. Just violently happy.
I'm ready to throw hands. I'm so happy.
Yes.
Okay, next up was my next pick. Hokkaido gals are super adorable.
Gals.
Listen, I'm actually watching.
Are they super
this.
adorable?
Oh my god.
They are super adorable. Listen, I love gals.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fun in anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of a show not taking place in generic, possibly unnamed Tokyo. This takes place in Hokkaido. This takes place in small town northern Japan. It's just
cool.
a unique. Yeah. It's cool. It's cold, but the gals are
not.
They're having fashion. I don't remember. The description on it was something like that.
Yeah,
they're gyaru, right?
So I'm enjoying it. It's like, I wouldn't say it's like incredible or anything like that, but it's a fun time if you enjoy like your Nagatoros, your shows like that. Then you'll enjoy. I
feel like
this.
it's this season's 100 Girlfriends. Like last season you had 100 Girlfriends, and this just kind of feels like the next one, kind of.
Yeah,
just a bunch. It's like a harem show, I guess.
Kind of.
So I recently saw a highlight of it where the main protagonist is like in a car with I guess one of the main gals and her mom, and he's like risen them both up accidentally, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was the most recent episode. Yeah, it's the main Gyaru's mom, who's also a gal.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. The main character's your classic fish out of water. He is both Tokyoite and very rich. So he's coming to this small town.
Oh, well, he's doing quite well then.
He's rich, but like he doesn't realize that he's very well off. It's interesting. He's got an interesting vibe to him.
These shows are fun. So
I think that like this is probably the most like fun rom-com show of the season. You know, like if Danger's in Your Heart isn't capturing any attention
your
from
heart.
you,
just right there.
Check out this show. Maybe
that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Are either of you watching it? I guess we could say like, are any of us watching these shows?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I haven't watched any of your shows or mine up until this point.
Do you watch anime?
Listen, I'm continuing shows from last season that are just so
really
good.
Yeah. That's the real story here. Is all like the best shows are those the ones that are continuing from last season. Yeah.
And another one.
Yeah. Are you talking about mine next or who's next here?
Well, I was asking if either of you have seen it.
Oh,
Jay said
I've caught up.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
No.
Jay said he has. And
but I've seen lots of
Jay's
memes about it, so that seems fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like Jay's having a good time.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
It's a fun show. Yeah, Mike, you are next with Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2.
The only Season 2 that has been drafted here. And I finished the first season of it. And I've started the second season of it. I'm a couple episodes in, and it's more of the first season, I would say. But it's like interesting because it's introducing other people that, like, you know how it's one of those typical isekai where like the main protagonist gets like reincarnated into another world, and the goddess is like not as a sword,
as a vending
the goddess
machine?
is like it's kind of like, I drafted it originally because it's similar to Konosuba, is what everyone said. And as you heard in the first half, I like Konosuba. And I don't know 100% that I agree with that, but it's probably one of the closest things to it, because he's reincarnated, but like things don't quite go as you'd expect. Like the goddess decided that she didn't like him at all, so she like basically made him so that he can't understand common. Yeah, he's he looks like a beast language. Man. Yeah, and he like lives in like the beast kingdom, but he's kind of like making do with that. And it's interesting. It doesn't look particularly great, is one of the critiques I would have about it. Like the animation and the art style is not the best, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's kind of more of the same. And the latest thing that's happening in this is they're kind of introducing the other people that got sent to this world as heroes, kind of Shield hero-y style. You know, there's like a couple people that all got reincarnated. So it's interesting. I'm going to keep watching. I'll let you know what's going on here. Are you guys watching this one?
I'm not. No.
Yeah,
I tried watching season 1 like a while ago, and I dropped it.
No, I should probably check it out then.
I don't think you'd like it, Cole.
No, I don't think I would. That was just a shot at Jay. That's all.
Yeah.
Next one.
You like shooting at me.
Next shot at Jay is one that hurts me. Sengoku Youko.
Yeah.
Jay, this was your third pick. I was upset with you that you took it from me.
Mm-hmm. Are you still upset that I took it from you?
You know what the worst part is?
What?
I am apathetic. I do not care. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
I remember I remember me and Cole were both kind of upset that Jay got this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And after kind of I only watched the one episode, and I'm fine that Jay took it from me now.
Yeah. Jay, lead us into this, and then I'll talk about my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm. Basically, so it's basically about this brother and sister, and also a traveling samurai that kind of go around and defeat these like demon monsters, but also like fight humans that are trying to turn people into demons. And the brother can get demon powers from the sister. It's complicated, but it has like a lot of Demon Slayer vibes, but it's not animated by Ufotable.
Yeah.
So
kind of. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Inuyasha too when we were watching it, because it's kind of got kind of the similar vibe.
It's got so much potential. Like
it does.
It's there, and sometimes I see it, and then it's just so painfully mid.
Yeah, it feels like every time it tries to go for a slam dunk, it like hits the ball off the backboard and goes.
Yeah, and then the ball just goes flying in the opposite direction, which in and of itself is impressive.
Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think it like epically flounders. It just kind of like
sometimes it does a nice layup, and you're like, there you go, you got the fundamentals down.
Yeah.
And then it goes for the dunk, and it's like, no, you missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hit the rim. Yeah.
It's painfully.
It's painfully average, and I really want to like this show. I really want to go in and say like, this is the show. This is the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, tell me about it, Jay, because this was my anime of the season pick.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna look what it's sitting at on AniList here.
As a reminder to our listeners, previous
65%.
seasons we were able to change our picks in the mid-season.
No, we lock them in.
We cannot do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They are locked in.
We lock them in, and I regret making this decision.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think it's good. I think it's
yeah.
You have to stand by it. You have to continue. Yeah.
Sengoku Youko.
Yeah.
Jay, I'm sorry you drafted it, and I'm sorry to myself. Mike, you dodged a bullet.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm glad. This is like you said, painfully mid, I think is like the perfect way to describe it. It has so much potential.
Like it
and
goes
it just
for
kind
it.
Of doesn't go for it. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It goes for it during like the transformation scenes, and it does those so well. And then its fights are just like
painfully average.
just a cardboard cutout flying through the air.
Yeah,
it's better than the last anime that was adapted of this mangaka's works, but which was like the epically bad
Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
That's it. Yeah.
The manga, I might enjoy the manga. Maybe that's the way to take this one.
Is like everyone keeps saying that this mangaka is like one of the legends, right? Like everything he does is good. And then like all of these shows are just not reaching that potential of what people
maybe they're
saying.
Just unadaptable.
Maybe
it's possible.
I might
totally
like this
possible.
manga.
I'm gonna see that actually. Check it out.
I'll come back to this.
I know
I'll come back to this. I'll report back.
I know it's officially licensed by Tokyo Pop, but like, yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
What's the status on this one? I think I'm dropping it.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna basically give it like maybe a couple more episodes, but it's on thin ice.
I watched the first episode. I remember it was one of our watch party episodes. Watched the first episode. I'm like, okay. I was still smoking that copium. I'm
You're
like,
on board.
Okay, nope. It's all right. The first episode, maybe a little meh. Went to the second, third. No, I wasn't. I gave it 3. I gave it 3 episodes. I think this is
Yeah, I
going to
think
have to be a
that's fair.
drop
I think that's
for me.
fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
next up, we've got Chain Soldier,
Mhm.
which
We did a review for.
We did a review of the manga, so I
Mhm.
won't go
Mhm.
too deep into the plot of it. But
yeah.
I'm enjoying it. The animation is a little janky sometimes.
Mhm.
They're kind of doing the CG meets 2D animation. But I really like the character designs. I really like the character shots. They're very dynamic character shots. I don't know how else to describe it. I like the voice acting. The OP, low-key a banger. Something about the guitar tone on the rhythm guitar in it. It just reminds me so much of like an 80s pop rock band. It's so cool. That's just me. I know that's just me. It just scratches that itch for me.
It's a good OP. It's not going to make it on like any like top OP lists, but
no,
it's good.
I like the
it's
song.
Good.
I like the song. I like the chorus hit.
I like the
OP.
ED better, actually. The ED is nice.
The ED
but
is
again,
fun.
It's not good enough to really take it anywhere.
The ED is probably more in contention
It's
for
more-
like an ED of the season for me.
Yeah.
Probably.
Weaker
I don't know
crop,
if it
though.
will be. But it circulates around Best Girl in the whole show. So I mean,
I will
obviously.
say though that I've been keeping up on this one. I'm
Oh,
actually
you have?
I have been, yeah, and I'm actually enjoying it too. Actually, I don't get why it's so panned on the rating systems. I guess it's because it's like,
you know why?
The key takeaway this season is that ecchi is back, baby.
Ecchi
Like,
is
full
back.
on
Ecchi is back. And Cole will be talking about that
ridiculousness.
very, very shortly.
Later. Yeah.
Jay and I will be talking about it later.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why would you? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
As Jay
Chain
continues
Soldier.
to lie about himself.
The thing that people are panning it for is that the art in the manga is genuinely great. The action in the manga is terrific, where the action in the anime is probably leaves some to be desired.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that they're doing they're doing a fine job.
think-
It's not distractingly bad.
I think a lot of it is also the fact that like if you're going into the show looking for like a fun romp and not expecting ecchi, then like you might be turned off from it, and those people probably are rating it low.
I will say, like, I don't know who watches. I don't agree with that because, like, who's watching this show thinking there's no ecchi in it?
The
Right.
people who are looking for Chainsaw Man and thinking that it's similar because it has chain in the title.
You know what, Jay could be onto something. Sometimes people do make
That'd be
Neanderthal
crazy.
brain decisions.
But like,
Yeah.
I personally, I was a little taken aback by how ecchi it really was. I was not prepared for the amount of nipples that are in this. For example,
listen. High Dive love getting these shows that they can advertise as uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to overly hint things, but there's another show that I'll be talking about later. That's
Yes.
also on High Dive. That
I
is
recommended to Cole.
We'll
Because
get there,
Jay's
boys.
watching.
We'll get there.
I'm not
We'll
Jay's
get
watching.
there.
Okay, I just want to
We'll
let the
get-
We'll
record
get
show
there.
this
We'll
is the
get there.
second show I recommended to Cole that he likes.
We'll get there.
get
Okay, next up, The Witch and the Beast. Michael, are you watching this show?
The Witch and the Beast. I am watching it. I am caught up to it. It is the first episode left me pretty in rough spirits a little bit. It's interesting, but it felt like a bit of a flop. Basically the whole premise is that the main characters, there's two main characters. One's like an experienced witch hunter, and the other one's been like cursed by a witch, and she's like super strong and wants to like take out all the witches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that dark seinen vibe, kind of like Berserk. If you watched Undead Murder Farce a couple seasons ago, that was kind of in that vibe too.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Mage's Bride, I think, is kind of a comparable one too, because it's kind of not set in Japan. It's kind of set in more Europe, a European setting
I'd
as
also
well.
throw out Case Study of Vanitas for like shows that are similar.
And I think it's good, but kind of mid at the end of the day.
Yeah,
because it needed better. It's a show that's definitely kind of driven by the action scenes a little bit, kind of like what Cole was saying with Chain Soldier, and it just feels like they just couldn't deliver the Sakuga to the point they needed to for this show.
Yeah,
and like it could be so aesthetic and it could be so much more than it is, but I'm still enjoying it. Jay, I know you said you were watching. I don't think Cole is.
I started it, and like I think the first episode was fine, but like it's kind of like it wasn't enough to like make me completely invested in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it had an interesting idea of like how like the show basically starts off on like how to break a witch's spell, and it gives like 3 ideas, and it's like 1, 2, and then the third rule is kind of like and then like the whole first episode is kind of like delving more into that, and I think that like the I don't want to say the world building, more like how the ideas incorporated in like how witches are in this world were interesting, but not enough to really drive my excitement for it.
I will say that if you've only watched the first episode, this one I feel like you watch 3 for sure. If you're at all intrigued by the first one, episodes 2 and 3 are better for sure.
Yeah.
And kind of a theme I've noticed this season is that like shows, maybe that first episode was a little rough. Maybe they're still coming off like a New Year's Golden Week hangover or something. Mm-hmm. And then like it seems like they kind of have been getting better as they go on. I don't know. Well, but I feel like that's definitely true for this one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they would have been producing these shows like middle of December, you know, they're getting ready for the holidays. Oh.
Sorry, I clicked over to the podcast doc and blinded myself.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No.
Honestly, this is one that's flying completely under the radar for me. I haven't seen anything about this show, so I don't really have anything to contribute to this part.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say seek it out, but if you're into like a dark seinen, check it out. I'm going to continue it for sure.
I mean, your pitch for Magus Bride. I mean, you guys know I love that show. It'd be my top 10 too, baby.
I think like if you're looking for that same vibe of like
it's darker than Magus Bride for sure.
Yeah, and at the same time, like I don't think it has that same introspection that where like Chisei is.
I mean, like if it's comparable, then maybe I'll look into it.
It's comparable in all the ways you probably wouldn't like, if I had to guess, Cole. But anyway, we'll move on. We
can move on to probably the best show that I'm not watching in A Sign of Affection. Jay. Also, I realized we've been doing this in the backwards order. So Jay, you got 2 in a row actually. So we're gonna talk about Sign of Affection.
Why are we doing this in reverse order?
Why?
Because I had the first overall pick. So
no, I had the first overall pick.
Yeah, Jay did.
You won.
It doesn't matter. We'll keep going in the order we've been going.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
You won. A Sign of Affection.
You're right.
Yeah. Yep. So basically the idea of this show is it's about a girl who is deaf and she meets a boy who like is very interested in her world, like the world of like what
I think she's interested in her.
Well, yes, but also at the same time he's interested in like
Jay, that was just his pickup line.
I don't know. I think it's very like I mean this in the most, how do I put this? The main guy is very red flag to me, and I think Mike might agree.
So we did a watch party on it, and come to our Discord for watch parties.
Yes.
And me and Jay kind of brought this up, and a couple other people did. That I just feel like the main guy's a little sus.
There's
very
just
something
sus
about him that's just
like I think the idea is like he's not actually into her. He's like into the idea of like she's deaf and how interesting that world must be because of like
I think that's what they're saying too. Yeah, I agree.
So like that's kind of why I was leading up with like he's interested in her world because like I think he really just wants to get the idea of like how a deaf person sees the world. And
which is, it's interesting because this anime does a very good job of tackling that from what I can tell, right?
Yeah.
And I suspect that's maybe like the contrived quote unquote villain that they're setting up is like, is he interested in her or not? Or is he bad guy or not? But you and I tell people that he's a little sus. Maybe he's not all what he appears. And then people like Cole right now, you're looking at him on the YouTube video and he's freaking out. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's
I'm
like,
not freaking
what's
out.
going on?
I just listen. We watched the watch party. We watched the watch party with all of our watchers in the watch party.
Lots of lips in it.
Lots of lips. And it wasn't just me who's like, I'm not picking up these vibes. It was people who are like caught up with the show just as far as you guys are, and they're like, I don't see what you're seeing. So it's interesting that this same character can produce these reactions, completely polar opposite reactions out of people who have the exact same amount of information. I mean, granted, I've only seen one episode, so I'm the layman in this situation.
They don't really hint towards. I didn't pick up on any vibes toward it or any like foreshadowing or anything until like the later episodes.
Yeah, I also like got more of the vibe because I also read a bit of the manga. I got kind of vibes while watching the first episode, but like it was much more prominent when I was reading the manga.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say it's good though. This is one that Shazana makes me watch like as it comes out. I'm going to definitely continue it for sure.
Me too.
Even though the lips threw me off. Also, how often do you see anime Costco in an anime where they just literally just go to Costco and do what you do at Costco and just like wander around and look at the stuff?
And how
Man,
often do you
I went to Costco yesterday. I got a great pair of work pants. I got a great work shirt. Man, why am I not shopping for work clothes at Costco? Costco, am I right?
I don't know. You need a membership.
Usually Costco dunks on Costco.
I hate Costco, but it was
it's a great store. It's a fantastic store.
It's a good store.
Just don't go during the busy times. They're always busy times.
Oh, it's always busy.
I'll also say about a sign of affection. How often do you see lip reading Sakuga?
That's true. That was very impressive, and it made me question how are they going to dub this.
True.
Yeah,
true.
And one thing that I thought too while watching this is they had to put so much of like the animation budget towards the hands and lips that sometimes the other animation suffers a little bit.
I did notice that
you
too.
don't need as much.
It's not an animation-driven show, though, right?
We always say that when we talk about a romance, but still, it's nice to have. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like A Silent Voice is very well animated as well. Similar.
Yeah.
Similar idea.
Anyway.
And I think like that's a good show to compare it to. Like if you like stuff like A Silent Voice, this is another show that I think you'd enjoy.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. To round out or to start off the top three, Metallic Rouge. Now, Metallic Rouge. Oh, Metallic Rouge.
I'm very curious what Cole's going to say here.
My sweet, sweet Metallic Rouge. I am officially 2 weeks behind on Metallic Rouge. I cannot bring myself to continue watching it, and I don't know why.
You know why, Cole? Because it's kind of mid.
It is kind of mid.
I like the stuff in it, you know? Like, I like the animation. I like the world. I like the characters. I like the OP. The OP is f***ing banging. But I just can't bring my interest levels up.
Maybe it's because
it's the story. It's the story, I guess.
Maybe it's like everything you've seen in Metallic Rouge has kind of been done better elsewhere.
Possibly.
That's a good way to put it. And I just feel like the story has simultaneously too much going on with too little attention paid to just developing the characters. It's kind of like here's these two characters and a whole bunch of stuff happens and there's a whole bunch of lore that you need to understand immediately or else you're not going to understand what's happening. And it's just an overwhelming time. It looks pretty. It sounds good. It moves well. It is interesting. If you write all the things down on paper, this should be a really good anime, but it just kind of misses. I don't know.
Like I wouldn't fault it for like trying to set up a mystery. Like I don't mind it revealing its parts. Like it's a show, right? Like maybe it'll work good as a binge at the end of the season.
Who knows? Maybe.
Because I don't have to wait each week for mysteries to be paid off. But at this point,
at the same time though, like I feel like for some, like a lot of the good mysteries, you know, like you love that like the episode ends and you're like, oh, I can't wait for next week, you know?
Yeah. But this one, it's like, it's not really cliffhangers though. That's the thing. Like it's like you wrap up the episode and then you realize, wait, they had like a thing in the episode that they didn't really pay off. So you kind of forget about the cliffhanger, so to speak. And it's got one of my favorite Seiyu. I mean, I can't remember their name. I'm not even going to bother looking it up.
I kind of
Kumiko and Foss.
Yeah. I know who you're talking.
Yeah. The Gue. Go ahead, girl.
But it just kind of feels like worse more confusing Licorice Recoil to me.
But Licorice Recoil, I had the same issue with. I never finished it either.
Yeah,
I think it's just maybe
it's simpler. It's simpler and easier to understand. Whereas this one, you're also add confusion to the mix.
Yeah,
with Licorice Recoil.
Again, it's got all of those pieces. It's just something about the execution in it is not working for me. And yeah, maybe I'll binge it at the end of the season. But right now, I'm behind. Yeah. You know what I'm not behind on AniList.
Crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. You know what I'm not behind on?
What's that?
What aren't you behind on?
Mike's pick on the next one.
Let me tell you about the best anime that's coming out. Best new anime that came out in winter 2024. And that's Delicious in Dungeon. Man, Studio Trigger does it so damn good.
You know what the beautiful thing about this is? Trigger has become less triggery. It's still got its triggery moments. We still got some character slimes. The
roots are there.
Character slides, I'm sorry. But it's
there are
not
character slimes too.
There are character slimes. It's not quite so zany.
It's more accessible.
It's more accessible. At the same time, this is an adaptation of a manga rather than an original thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like listen to these recommendations on AniList here. We got Campfire Cooking in Another World. Obviously, there's cooking. And someone, when we were doing the watch party for it, or when we were talking about the watch party for it, they said, would I like this? I don't really like cooking anime where like, like the cooking is the point of the show, like Campfire Cooking was. And in this show, really the cooking is almost like, it's not things that you actually want to cook or eat. They're like cooking like the slugs that live in between the plates of armor and stuff. And it's just like, it's more entertaining to see what zany food they're going to eat next.
It's almost a joke. Like that's almost a punchline is like, the joke setup is we're going to cook lobster monsters. Lobster monster. That's fun. We're going to cook lobster monster. And then the payoff is this delicious meal that they cooked out of something that doesn't exist in real life.
And then they're all like, this is going to be horrible. And then usually it's not. And there's a couple of times where they even say like, oh, this is not the best, but it's good because I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a fun show. It embodies the word fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love the characters in the show too.
Easy best girl in this show.
Potentially best girl in this show. Yeah, she's great. I love her.
Marcel.
Yeah. And I like the main guy. I like the other guy who's kind of feeding his addiction of wanting to cook monsters.
Yeah, they're all weird. They're all a bunch of weirdos, and they just explore a dungeon. I guess I should say the setup before we go on is that they're adventuring. They're in the bottom of a dungeon, and their friend, part of their party, one of the main character's sisters, gets eaten by a dragon. But she's like a powerful mage, so they kind of know that she's probably still alive. So they're trying to.
Well, they can bring people back from the dead, which is hilarious to me too. They just they how did you miss it? They're constantly talking about how like this was the first time I died.
Oh, okay.
They're always talking about like how in this world they can be brought back to life as long as they've got the body. So they want to get to the sister before the dragon digests her.
But the thing is, the actual like purpose of this journey into the dungeon. Oh, the reason they have to eat monsters is because they go right back in the dungeon and don't have any money to buy more food. So they're like, we'll just eat these monsters. But the real reason they're eating all these monsters is because the main character is a sicko and just like gets off on eating all these monsters. He's like, I really want to know what that goblin tastes like. Really, can't
we eat magical suits of armor? And everybody's like, no, they're just armor.
No, they're metal.
But in the end,
he finds a way. Or there's a will in the way.
Now Jay looks thrilled.
Jay looks uncomfortable. So let's hear what Jay's thoughts are.
Have you watched this at all?
I was going to watch episode 1, and I watched maybe 5 seconds into it, and then went, eh.
What?
So,
man, you gotta get off your trigger hate.
Hold on.
Okay.
Before you give me a minute.
Go ahead.
I knew that we had a watch party coming up, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this thing where I've already seen the show and be like wanting to watch it again. So I was like, okay, I'll just go into the watch party, see how it goes from there, and then if I like it while watching it with everyone, then I'll continue. If not, then whatever.
Okay. I understand your madness now. There is a method to your madness. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go.
Now, the other thing I want to address in the show. Well, no, go ahead, Mike. In case
I was going to wrap it up because I still want to talk about more shows after Jay's next show. OP is good. I kind of agree with Jay that the visuals aren't that.
I like the visuals.
I like them too, but it's not like OP of the year.
I like the storytelling and the visuals. I like it's a party. You know, everybody's coming to coming to eat this
also
meal.
Bump of chicken
and Bump of chicken, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jay. Solo
leveling. I feel like this is going to be a lot of people's anime this season, but not mine.
Probably. Oh,
I think that this show has like a lot of fun action sakuga, and like a lot of the fights. If the OP and what we've seen so far is any testament to like what we will get it going forward, a lot of the action is going to be really fun, really, really well done and cool.
Mm-hmm.
That said,
here comes the haterade.
I feel like a lot of the plot in Solo Leveling is just kind of shallow and doesn't really have anything to go off of. It's fun.
And that was our fear coming into this season, I think.
Yeah.
Is that Solo Leveling, while it is good and people really enjoy it, it is shallow.
Yeah.
Like what I can tell.
There's nothing really to Sung Jin Woo that like gravitates me to him, if that makes sense. He's just kind of like a regular guy, and to its credit, I think the best part of the show is like he doesn't just become OP, but you slowly get to see him get stronger and become
OP,
the OP guy.
I mean,
he doesn't just become OP; he becomes OP.
Well, I mean, like,
but slowly.
You see his progression to it, which I think is which I think makes the like when he starts bodying monsters and bosses a lot more rewarding because you actually get to see like the results of his training.
Right.
But like again, like he seems like a flat character. Everyone else just kind of seems a little hollow, and
I find it kind of funny that you're saying this because he to me is like the exact same thing as like a Kirito almost.
Yeah,
he's just like your kind of bland MC that's like OP at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and I think
we like Kirito. We like Kirito because he did it first.
Yeah, I
think that's what
like
it is.
Kirito
really
because in a more ironic
nostalgia
sense.
Reasons.
Yeah. Nostalgic, ironic, yeah.
Like it's not a genuine like, oh, Kirito is such a deep,
but there's
philosophical
no irony
character
in Solo Leveling, right? So it's kind of maybe misses the mark. I will say I'm enjoying this show, and I plan to I will finish this season for sure. The first episode, I know we were all kind of disappointed that it looked a little rougher than it should have, and just didn't really maybe hit all the notes. And it was not. We were all very disappointed too that it was only the one episode when it really should have been a full like 40-minute or maybe even an hour episode.
Yeah, you've kind of segued me into my one take for Solo Leveling because I've only seen the first episode. It's probably the worst sale job that a show can do. There was nothing in there that made me interested to continue. The only reason that people continued the show is because they've read the manhwa, and they know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think if you're going in completely blind, there's really nothing in episode 1 that would make you go, okay.
Other than people saying, "Oh, watch the next episode; it'll be good."
Yeah,
it's kind of like they tried ending on a cliffhanger, but the thing is, the point where they ended was like right before all the interesting stuff actually kind of happens. So like really what they just did is like left not much in the first episode.
It seemed to me like they knew they were getting like that hour-long premiere date in like I think it was LA, Tokyo, and Seoul. And they were like,
it doesn't matter if they don't premiere an hour long on the internet.
I know,
but
else watches. That's not what I'm saying.
99% of people don't get to see it in LA.
I know, but my point is like they were more concerned with like doing that, and then they were like, oh yeah, only half of it is premiering. Well, crap. Because like it seems a lot more like it flows decently from one episode to the next, but the first half doesn't really do anything.
Well, the problem is like when you do a cliffhanger like that, you need some kind of setup, right?
Yeah.
there's no indication of what could potentially be happening.
Yeah.
So there's no interest from me.
And I will say that while we're being kind of harsh on it, but this is the second highest rated and the most popular show of this season.
But that's what I mean.
People are liking it. Yeah.
It's popular.
It's a little underwhelming for being that, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm continuing it though, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll finish the season.
We can talk about...
What about you guys? This is Jay's
show.
Yeah,
I haven't even watched episode 2.
I mean, I have to finish it because of our rules.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But like, I probably would keep going just because like, I think it has enough to keep me invested, but
it's fun.
Yeah. I think fun is the right word to use for it.
Yeah. My interest levels are just very low. It's just me. Yeah.
Now, tell us about your show that you and Jay have been like physically restraining yourselves from gushing about.
Listen, I'm gushing over Magical Girls. It is, man, I love this show. I never thought I would enjoy a
really
pure ecchi as much as this show is. Like I binged the manga, so the manga low key has like great art. It's very good. And the show is good. I really like the voice acting. The animation, of course, is a bit jank, but I mean, you kind of expect it. Like nobody's throwing their budget at a silly show about a sadistic villain who likes torturing the magical girls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you set it up for me a little bit? I've been like kind of eyeing it up, but like also not sure what it's all about. I know what it's about, obviously, what the quote unquote plot is, but
yeah. So the main girl is a big fan of magical girls. There's these magical girls in the real world that she lives in. And she gets approached by this little mascot character who's like, do you want to transform into... I can't remember how exactly they sell it, but yeah, totally. I want to be a magical girl too. So she transforms, and it turns out that this little mascot creature doesn't want her to be a magical girl. She wants her to be a villain that fights the magical girls. And it turns out that she kind of unlocks this internal
hidden side to her.
Hidden side.
Yeah, she's like a sadist, right? Like
she's a sadist. Yeah, she likes torturing the magical girls because she likes the idea of these girls that she idolizes in peril. In peril.
Yeah.
And she gets like a sick pleasure from it.
Cue ecchi hilarity.
Yeah. I shouldn't say sick pleasure. You know, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yums.
Yeah, no.
She's and I like the other characters in it. Listen, say what you will about the show. This show passes the Bechdel test. They are not talking about boys in this show. This is pure.
I have not seen a boy in this show.
This is
all
pure
the screenshots I've seen. Yeah.
This is pure Yuri bait.
Yeah.
It's
bait if it's just obviously Yuri.
No, this is pure Yuri. Yeah.
This time not on ice.
It's it's in contention for me. I'll be honest.
With like what? Hold on.
Listen,
the season? Yeah. Let your freak
in
fly
contention
fly,
with
buddy.
what though?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
what's
like
number 2?
Yeah.
Listen. We've got some all-time greats. Well, we've got one all-time great that is still airing.
Technically, like Free Ren and Bucchigiri Diaries could still be anime this season.
Free Ren is so good. But yeah, Gushing over Magical Girls. I'm having a blast. This is one that I'm religiously keeping up with. Episode comes out, I'm watching it. Yeah. I'm watching it, not for any sick reasons. I'm genuinely enjoying this show. It's fun.
Well,
it's
I'm glad one
unique.
of us likes it.
You don't need to apologize for yourself. Ecchi's back, baby.
No, I just want to make it clear.
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing for anything. Because if you like an ecchi show for the ecchi, that's great. I genuinely like this show because it's unique. The plot's great. And I mean, yeah, sure. The ecchi's always fun too. Sure.
Yep. Jay, there's one that you've been kind of gushing about as well.
Yeah. So the show that I started watching and like can't get enough of is Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy.
What a pithy title.
It just comes right off the tongue, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just call it Seventh Time Loop because it's a lot easier to say.
Yeah. I think it's here. You know what? I've come around on the long title a little bit because you could just call it Seventh Time Loop. And And then the second part is just like a description of the show.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's just how I look at it now. The show is called Seventh Time Loop, and it's about the villainess enjoying a carefree life married to her worst enemy.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically what it is. Like, it's pretty much just about a girl who was engaged to the prince of her country, and he calls off the engagement. So she goes off to do something else, and she finds an untimely demise. But then she wakes up in the middle of the assembly that the prince called to annul their marriage. So she gets another chance. And this happens 6 times before we pick up in the story where she does something because of all the little things she's learned in the loops that she's gone through. And it catches
7 of them.
And it catches the prince of another country's eye, and the prince happens to be the guy who was responsible for all of her deaths in her previous life.
Interesting.
And so basically, like, the whole plot of the show is like her kind of trying to figure out how she can stop that from happening. So kind of like imagine in medias res ReZero.
So the plot is that she doesn't want to make a sequel to the show called Eighth Time Loop.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty much like in medias res ReZero, where like all the loops have pretty much already happened, and now she's just kind of like trying to figure out how she can stop the bad thing that's going to happen from happening, and keep living her life, because she's going to die in 5 years.
And what is it that like has you so hooked on this show?
I think it's mostly just like that, but also like the little things and details that like she keeps like learning just like a little thing, and like it adds to the puzzle of her trying to solve this thing. And also just learning more about the Prince Arnold's life, and kind of like how he got from like where he is now to that villain person that ends up causing her death. I don't want to get too spoilery into it, but I think like that's very interesting. And yeah, I think like there's a lot of moving parts.
Jay's just vibing. Jay's just vibing with this show.
Yeah, I really like the characters. I like the world. I like kind of the mystery of it all. And yeah, like I wouldn't say it's the best animated show, but it's the most interesting show for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Mike, is there anything that you're watching?
Yeah, other than I feel like we could just basically say like all the continuing shows that we enjoyed and talked about last season are all still really freaking
honestly
good.
Free Rent is
Apothecary Diaries.
Free Rent is proving itself to be one of the best anime of all time, in my opinion.
Probably, yeah.
It's very good.
It's
maybe not my favorite anime of all time, but I think it would be. Yeah. It's getting close to like Pantheon levels.
Yeah, and don't forget about Undead Unluck too. It's been incredible, even though our Canadians can't watch it really that well. Classroom of the Elite I checked out as well. It's more Classroom of the Elite. Classroom of the Elite. You're enjoying it. The one I want to talk about though is Fluffy Paradise. I'll just quickly say, as we're running a little long, that I enjoy this nice little show. It's maybe not my favorite. It's not the best animated. It's not going to win any awards. But you know what? If you want like a nice, it's exactly what you think it is. It's fluffy. It's cute, and there's enough going on with like this political in the world and stuff like that it kind of keeps you interested in what's happening outside of just the obvious main draw, which is this little cute girl interacting with animals, and it's fun.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good shows there, but unfortunately there's some kind of dumpy shows too.
I think it's honestly all in all kind of a down season for the shows that came out this season, and I think it's just because all the powerhouses continued into this one.
We've got some fun shows, but we don't really have anything that's kind of hitting big time.
Yeah.
So,
No.
Yeah.
but we've got some reviews coming up. Next week, actually, we're going to be reviewing Go-Go Loser Ranger. That is a manga.
Go Loser Ranger.
First volume, I think. So the first
Volume 1.
5 chapters.
5 chapters. Yeah.
Okay.
We've also got review for Gate coming up. That is the anime known as Gate. Jay's
And we're
almost
watching-
done it.
I am
We're
almost
watching
done.
24 episodes of that.
I-
It's
and
weird.
I-
It's debatable if it's 2 seasons or not.
It is 2 seasons, but listen, it's only listed as 1 on High Dive, so we'll just go with the 1.
Yeah.
And of course, our listener's choice is done. You can no longer vote, but next week we will have the announcement for which show we'll be watching, I believe. Yeah, that'll be next week. So yeah, thanks for listening to another episode of the Anime Protagonist Podcast. Leave a like, review, subscribe, give us 5 stars. However you want to review us, please do. And please tell a friend about us. You can come over to our Discord. We've got watch parties over there, games, chats. The watch parties are going pretty well. They're having fun.
Loving them. Yep.
Yeah. Links to everything's at our website, AniProPod.com. If you really like us and you want to be as kind as these people, you can support us on Patreon. You get an early episode. You get a bonus episode every month, extra votes on stuff, special chats in the Discord, priority mailbag. You get some benefits. You also get your name read by me every week. Right now, Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Brain Dead B-Dog, Super Mexi, Peach, Frama, Kratoast, Just Juzz, and Mogmog. Thank you all so much for supporting the Anime Protagonist Podcast. We appreciate it. Bigly. Yeah. Mike.
Hey,
Can you
Cole?
wrap this up?
well, we've had a lot of fun here this week, guys. And in the interest of brevity, I'm not going to delay it any longer. I'm going to get right to the point
Mm-hmm.
and just
appreciate
get
that.
us out of here with
Yeah.
the words that we say at the end of every episode of the Anime Protagonist Podcast.
Program.
Hello, Cole's cat. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.